Hello everyone, I'm Psychotic, and that's also my screen name. Today we're doing something a little bit different than we normally do. We are exploring a little bit of X4 here. I absolutely adore this game, and I've noticed some of my viewers, I've mentioned it multiple times, some of them have started playing it and are struggling, so I thought that I would throw together kind of a video to help out with new players to the game and how the mechanics work. This video is to help out all the new players with a solid start in the game and assist in smoothing out the steep learning curve that is X4. It's not necessarily the best start, quote-unquote. That is super subjective. Everybody and their brother has a different opinion about what the best start is. Nor is it a way to quickly cheese the system to just get a bunch of millions to do stuff. There are ways to do that, save editing, mods, super easy, but that's not what this is about. This is to help with some of the mechanics that new players struggle with, and to assist in developing the love that the veteran players of this game have. So we're gonna delve a little bit into mechanics and starts and whatnot. So one of the things to note is if you use mods, or if you save edit like I did here, you get a modified tag on your saves. So you can see that I do kind of know what I'm talking about, because I mean I've got billions here. I've got, yeah, and they're not modded. They're straight files. So we do kind of know what we're talking about. There are some things that are obviously subjective and some things that are going to be player skill based, but we're going to try to avoid some of that stuff. We're not after the best of anything here. We're just trying to give you guys a solid start so that you're not lost in the beginning. So we're going to go to the new game, and you can see here that there are a lot of different options available. Now, I highly recommend doing the tutorials. The movement in this game is not super intuitive, and that's definitely something that you want to use to figure out what's what. A lot of these starts a new player is not going to have access to. You have to do various things to unlock them. I particularly like the split start and the boron start, but in this particular case we're going to go with young gun because that's something that you're going to have from the very first time you play this game. You don't start with a lot of credits, and it's kind of a hard start if you don't know what's going on, which new players would not. So we're going to go ahead and launch in here, and I am going to cut out the intros because you're going to see them when you play the game, so there's no real reason to leave them in. So we'll be back with you here in just a second. Alright, now here we are loaded in. Now one of the first things that I'm going to bring up is the game paused. You cannot overuse pause. This is in fact a simulation. All of the races, whether you've discovered them or not, with the possible exception of the boron, they're kind of weird, but everybody else is doing stuff all of the time that the game is running, that the simulation's running. So you want to make liberal use of pause unless you are actively doing something, because the Xenon will absolutely overrun the universe in your early game to mid-game if you haven't been using pause because you've been wasting time standing around. So that's perfectly fine. Just use pause as frequently as possible unless you're actively doing something. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to point out is you want to go into settings, and for your game settings, you want to find the one, and I'm not entirely sure, it's been forever since I've been in this menu. Okay, so we are looking for the setting, maintain speed in menus. You'll see it right here. You want that to be on. That way you don't get stopped when you open your map to try to navigate while something is chasing you, because you will slow down and then it will blow you up instead of you getting away because you stopped for some crazy reason. So that's very important to change from the get-go. One of the other things that we're going to want to change, and it's not super important at the moment because we don't have any other ships, but if you come up here into your player information, you want to change your global orders. So one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to set our trade rule 1 to no hostile. So, nope, I lied. So we are going to change our trade rule 1 to self only. And this is going to restrict all factions. And we're going to set that for station supply and station trades. Now, later, you can absolutely change that. But for now, we're going to set it like that. And we're going to go ahead and save it. And that's for when you only want your miners to trade with yourself. Now, the blacklists are things that we also want to set, and this one is going to be a little bit more important. So sector travel, we want all civilian ships to avoid systems that are owned by enemies. So this sets the blacklist as the defaults for civilian ships so that we don't have to set it for every single one. But that way, there's a spot in the map where you have the Argon on one side, and then a Xenon sector, and then the Split on above it. So if you try to trade from Argon to Split, your ship is going to try to go through the Xenon sector and probably not even get a couple of 100 meters away from the gate before it gets blown up. So this way, it will just avoid that system that is Xenon because it's enemy. So that's definitely something that you want set, and you want it to be set for all civilians by default. One of the other things that we're going to do is sector activities for civilian ships. We do not want them trading in sectors owned by enemies. And that is important because not every faction in the game attempts to own a system. So you might have, say, a Paranid station in a system that's owned by somebody that's hostile to you. And you don't want your traders to try to trade with the Paranid system while they're going into that place. That's by going into that place and getting blown up. It's just bad. So we don't want that going on either. And sector activities is their actual trade, whereas travel is where they will go in between trades. So you want to make sure that you have both of those in there. Otherwise, they will try to either trade in a system that is hostile without going through any hostile systems to get there, which is bad if it borders a non-hostile. Or they will try to trade in a system that they can't get to because there's a hostile in there in between. So it really helps save some problems later on. So we'll say no trade hostile. And then this one we need to change the name on to no travel hostile. And that'll make them easier to see when we're doing stuff with them. So those are very, very important to set up. Now at this point, we are going to go ahead and hop on our ship. We're going to unpause. And what? That was nice. It just teleported us straight in here. So, okay, that's a thing. So one of the other things that you can do, and this is super not important, but the icon that they give you by default is not my favorite. So we're going to come in here, and the first thing that we're going to do is change our pilot name because I want it to be me. And then I'm going to set my organization name because I think it's clever to Psychotropic. And then for the logo, we're actually, you can add custom logos. So we're going to go ahead and go with my symbol, and that's going to be on all of my ships. And you can also do default ship colors, which will change the color of the ships by default, as you can see. Now, I recommend not making them super dark. Like, I love the coloring on this. The problem is you are in space, and space is dark. If you have a dark ship and dark space, it becomes very difficult to find. So, it's not necessarily a bad idea to keep your ships a little bit brighter. Alright, so now we will get back into our ship here. And one of the things that they do tell you some of the hotkeys, but they go through them in such a rapid-fire rate that it's very difficult for players to remember them oftentimes. Oh, we are at a repair station. Okay. So, what we're going to do here, and this is going to be very important for the start, actually, is we are going to upgrade and repair, and we are going to grab some crew members. And a pilot. Oh, it's not going to let me get a pilot because I'm in here. That's okay. So we'll take 2 pilots. We don't have enough money for that. I forgot that this start does not start you with much of anything for money. So we do need at least 1 pilot. That is going to be important. So we will do, or not 1 pilot, but 1 person. So we're just going to add 1 crewman because that's all that we have the money for, maybe? Will it let us do a second? Nope. Okay. So we're just going to start off with the 1, and we're going to need that for later when we start picking up other ships. So at this point, we are going to wait for that trade to go through. You can see the timer up here. And it's done. Now, you can do pretty much anything in this game through the menu here. But I highly recommend learning the hotkeys because trying to go through all of this stuff is going to get very tedious very quickly. And when you're in combat, you just don't have time. So at this point, what we're going to do is unpause and undock by hitting Shift-D. And I'm going to try to keep you updated with what keys I'm hitting so that you know what's going on. Now it starts you out in default mode here, and if you hit Shift Spacebar, now it'll move based on where your mouse is, and you can switch that at any time. Now remember in this game too, if you've done the tutorials you should be a little bit aware, but W does not make you go forward, it makes you go up, and S makes you go down, A and D make you go side to side. So to go forward, you hit X, and it increases your throttle, as you'll notice down here. Now the important part about that is it's not going to stop, it's going to maintain that speed. And you can also go into reverse by holding down Z, which is what you do to brake. But one of the hotkeys to remember is backspace. Now I have backspace keyed to one of my mouse buttons, just because of how frequently I use it. Backspace will set your throttle to exactly 0. So that is definitely something to abuse. One of the other things to remember is when you use your Afterburner, it takes shield. It uses shield as fuel for your Afterburner, so it's not really a good idea to use it over much in fights. Short bursts is fine, but don't rely on it. But the part that is super cool is if you tap it, it sets your throttle to maximum straight away. So you don't have to wait for the throttle to go up. And the shield drain is negligible. Now, one of the things that we want to do in a very fresh start is we're going to hit Shift 2 to go into scan mode. And we are going to work our way around this station. Somewhere here, there's going to be a scannable node, and we will start to get a signal as we get close to it, that is going to activate the quest for our personal headquarters. And that is a station that you get for free, that you can research various things like teleportation from, that is super, super handy. I thought I saw it. I did not. Okay, so we're just going to keep looking for our node here. And you will start to see some static on your screen when you get close, and possibly hear it. Whoa. So these guys are hostile civilians. Now these are how you get friendly with places that you can't run missions for because you're too hostile or can't dock at their bases. So you find them and you shoot them down. You have to be very, very careful, because if you miss, you run the risk of hitting the station. And if you hit the station, they get super mad and they blow you up, and it's just a bad time. And then you can hold O to tractor in if they had anything. I don't think this guy did. But now here in a moment, we are going to get a message from whoever's station this is. I don't know if it's Argon or not. I wasn't paying attention. That we will get a rep increase from blowing that guy up for them. So you have to be -9 to dock with places. Oh. So there you can see right here is the signal. So that's super important to watch out for. So now we need to track it down, and the waves will be on one side or the other a little bit stronger to show you where it's at. There it is. You can see the little red glowy. So we just need to get our nose as close to it as we can, and it'll scan out. Oh, that one was just money. That was an unlock. That was not as useful as I would have hoped. Okay, there was the thank you for shooting that guy down. So we now have a reputation of 5 with the Argon. The higher your rep gets, the less points you'll get for that. If you're in the negatives, it will bring you up fairly quickly because you'll get 1 rep per kill. Once you're around 5-ish, it starts to slow way down. And by the time that you're in the 10s, it's not worth your time. Alright, so let's see if we can find another signal. That one did give us a little bit of a credit boost, it said. Whoop. Where are you at? Okay, this way? This way? No? Okay. I'm wondering if it's up. It could be down. And you can see I'm using my backspace quite a lot here, just so that I don't crash into stuff. It shouldn't affect your reputation or anything if you do. Oh, was that the... Nope, that was a light. Alright, we gotta find this guy. So you're gonna get a quest from a boron that's going to activate your main quest for your PHQ, your player headquarters. And we're not gonna go after that straight away, we just want to have it open. Now remember, we are still in Shift 2 for the scan mode.
One moment, please.
If you are receiving
There it
this
is.
transmission, my plan is working. Now, I just need to dial in the heretics' end coordinates and... Oh, I must go now. My captors will soon return, and there is so much more to prepare.
Okay, so we are set up on that end now. We don't have to worry about him anymore. So let's go ahead and pause and hit our map. Now, as you can see, it's very limited because we just started. One of the things that you really want to do in an early game is get on the belt and just ride the belt all the way around, just so that you explore a bunch of free systems. Now, there is one thing that I will recommend, and I'm going to show it to you guys really quick. There is a... Okay, let's pull this over. And ta-da! Whoop. Okay, so this is the universe map by Rogi, and it is an entirely interactable map of all of the systems in the game. This is one of the most useful tools for new players or old players. So we know right now Argon Prime's here, and we saw that we had second contact available, and we are currently in Black Hole Sun. So we are here. So to get to the outer belt, which goes to Hatikva's Choice, etc., we're going to need to head up towards Argon Prime. Now, the part where this really comes in handy is if you're not entirely sure where a jump gate is to get somewhere. Like, say we get to Argon Prime and we're not sure. Actually, this one's even better because this one's not on the belt. If we go into Hatikva's Choice, there are actually 2 sectors in Hatikva's Choice. So if you go into Hatikva's 1, you can see that there's a jump gate to Silent Witness, there's a jump gate to Tharka's Cascade, and a jump gate to Morning Star. Now this denotes and Argon Prime. So this is where the belt runs. And then there's the Hatikva trading station. That one's static because there's a quest for it. So we want to go to Morning Star 3 to get to our new... because our player's headquarters is going to wind up here in Heretic's End. And it's kind of hard to figure out how to get there if you're new to the game and you don't know. But this will help you get where you need to go. And it is color-coded for who owns what. The red are the Xenon, the blue are the Argon, the green are the... oh, hell. I forgot their name. They're the lizard overlords. Talati. And then down here you've got the... Now, here's the only place where I really struggle with it, because they made it all purple for the Paranids, but these Paranids are pink and these Paranids are purple. They are actually different groups, and they do fight amongst themselves. And that's the other thing why we pause things, is they are constantly fighting against each other. The economy is static when it starts, and it's static throughout the game. So if an Argon builds a ship, it will detract all of the components that it would take as if you were building that ship from their stores, which means they then need to replenish them before they can build another ship, provided they don't have enough left. So that's where we make our money, is through the trading, bringing things from places to places, and mining to get the raw materials for their infrastructure. Eventually you'll be building stations of your own so that you can make your own infrastructure. But that infrastructure is alive, so if you mine the same stuff in Holy Vision with 20 miners, eventually they're going to stop buying from you because they just don't need any more. They're not able to manufacture as much raw material as you're bringing in as fast as you're bringing it in. So you kind of have to be careful with that and not over-mine or over-trade certain things. So we're going to go ahead and set ourselves up to head up to Argon Prime, and we're just going to get on the belt. So we're going to start guidance to object. Now you can do Shift 2 to allow the... we're actually going to hit Shift 1 here to start our boost. Shift spacebar to allow ourselves to turn.
Jump gate.
And we're going to head for the jump gate.
Contact.
But you can allow autopilot by hitting Shift A to take you there. The problem is the autopilot takes the quote-unquote safest route, not necessarily the fastest. It is usually faster to steer yourself. So one of the important things to remember is when the autopilot takes you through a jump gate, it stops you on the other side and then starts the spool up for your boost again. Or your warp drive, like we are now with the orange around there. So if we steer through it, while that's active. We pop out the other side at speed with it still active. So that's a great way to get your larger ships later in the game around, but also if you're going into a dangerous sector, that's a quick way to not get mauled at the gate. And that is a problem with some of the things. Like, there are some ships that we're going to pick up later that if we weren't to do it this way, we would never get past the gate because they would just destroy us as soon as we popped into existence. The downside is you kind of have to get yourself lined up so that you can hit it at speed. Otherwise you go way past and then that causes other problems. Now there is a neat trick that you can use where instead of shift space, if you hit control space, we can actually turn as if we weren't moving. The problem is when you re-engage by hitting control space again, you do drift a little bit to the sides when you do that. So you can see here, we're still going sideways a little bit, and now we've leveled out. The smaller the ship, the less noticeable that inertia is, but in the larger ships, that can be killer. But that's a quick way to turn, because if we were to try to turn otherwise, look at how slow we turn. So that's a trick that we use to turn quickly at high speeds. And now you can see we're still traveling at 2,500 meters per second. And we are still traveling at 2,500 meters per second. So if there were any hostiles there, we'd be out of their range before they even knew we were there. Now, one of the other things to note is these bands are kind of difficult to get into sometimes. If you hit them at warp speed, you're just going to bounce. It's not going to grab you and take you like it should. So you really want to kill your motor a little early, kill your throttle. And it depends on the size of your ship as to how long it's going to take you to slow down. Some of the bigger ships you want about 20k. This one, we're going to try 15k. I haven't flown this ship in so long it's not even funny. So we might well overshoot, but we're going to try... Nope, we way the shit undershot. Okay. This is literally one of the worst ships in the game, so it's not one that you're probably ever going to use again once you get out of it. Well, that ping means there's a hostile, so if we hit Shift E, we can see who it is. He's already gone, it doesn't matter. Alright, we'll hit Tab to boost up to max. And we're going to come on over here. So this works more or less like the streets in the US. The right side is going to take you... the right side is the side that you're traveling on. See, there was still a bounce. Still a bounce. What's going on here, guys? So let's try hitting S. There we go. Oh, no, we undershot. These things can be tricky. Alright, now it's got us. We don't have to worry about it. Now, you do want to make sure that you turn off your steering mode, because if you turn too far to one side or the other, it will bust you out of the belt. So this belt goes all the way around in a big circle. It makes you travel very, very, very fast. So we're actually going to use it to explore all of the systems along the way here. And I'm going to make a complete circuit, and I will bring you back when we're done, because this is going to take a long minute. Okay, here we are back in Argon Prime. We're going to take one more jump to Tikva's Choice, because we're going to do the very first quest that is going to be important. It's going to get us a free ship. So we are actually headed to the station here. So to get off of this belt, you're just going to hit W to drift up, and it should pull you right out. Like so. And then we turn our steering back on, hit Shift 1 to get our boost going. And we're going to fly over here and land. Now, we don't have a landing computer, which makes landing a giant pain in the ass. I highly recommend getting one once you have some flexible income on ships that you're going to be flying regularly. I wouldn't bother putting one on the starter ship because you're likely not going to spend much time in it.
Trading station.
So remember, we stopped really fast, so this time we're going to try at about 7. And we're going to hit Shift D, and that's going to show us which way to go to dock. Alright, so 7 was a little fast. Looks like we only need about 3k to fully stop. In the bigger ships, it's going to be bigger. Some of the ships are close to 20k. Alright, and docking's kind of a pain in the ass. It's basically a little mini game. So we're going to come on up here, and we're going to get this centered first, and then turn off our steering. That way we don't have to worry about it. And then we're going to find our side to side. Huh. So when it goes green, right like that, we know that we're good. And then we're going to go forward. Nope, it turns out it was behind us. So we're going to go backwards. Whoop, too far. And that's where that backspace comes in really handy. And then we're just going to S down, and it's going to dock us. Now, if you can get a Tier 2 docking computer, you basically just have to get close to it, and it'll automatically do it for you. So we did actually get the message about the quest. So we're going to come over here into our messages. We want the unique opportunity to help out Hatikva. So we're going to go back to our map, and we're going to go to our missions, and we're going to activate that guy by accepting. Nope, that is not the right one. Psych. Oh no, yeah it is. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay. So now we're going to unpause and hit Control D instead of Shift D, and that's going to get you out of the pilot seat. Let us come on down, and we're going to go talk to that lady, because they're going to give us a free small trading vessel. Now, small trading vessels are not going to get you very much money at all. That's not why we want it. There's a very big difference. In the early game, you're really, because your reputation is absolute garbage. I mean, we've got +5 with Antigone, we've got +5 with Argon, we're -5 with the Free Families, which is still white, that's not bad. We're -15 with HOP, that's a problem. And we're -15 with Xyarth Patriarchy, which is also a problem. These guys have the best engine for your light and medium fighters in the game. And these guys have some really nice large mining ships and large traders. So those are definitely reputations that we're going to want to get up over time. The problem is at -15, you cannot dock at their stations. So that trick that we saw with the little civilian in the beginning, that's how we're going to get them down. Once we get them to -9, we'll be fine. Now, in this particular case, we're fine, because at -15, they will not target our combat ships. It is important to remember that scouts are also combat ships. Now, there are some factions that you may find that are, I think -18 is the trigger. I could be wrong. It might be -16, where they will attack your combat ships but not attempt to destroy your property. Those are ones where you take a trading ship to kill the civilians until you get them down to -9. Once you can dock with them freely at -9, things really open up. But we want to use small miners and small traders in this early game. One, because they're way the shit cheaper. They will make you less money, but the reputation gains are not based on how much you sell to them. They are based on how many interactions you have with them. So the small ships actually get you more rep faster because they have smaller trades, which means they have a whole lot more of them. Also, they're faster. So that's a very important thing to remember. And we are going to get a free small trade ship out of this, so that's going to help us out as well. Okay, that should eliminate the echo. So you will notice that we are in a different spot now. Oh, and it took us straight to the ship again. That's bizarre. I'm not used to it doing that. Alright, we'll just go with it. Oh, it took us to our ship. That's a problem. Okay, so we want to go to the other ship. Now, remember how we bought pilots? There was a reason that we did that. Oh, it's bugged. Okay. Control D to get up. And we're going to go find our other ship, which is actually right here. So this was convenient. Provided it stops rubber banding me. So let's drop a save. Because it's doing some weird stuff we might have to load.
That's the ship. We'll grant you access now.
Okay, so this has now officially become ours. We saw the symbol change. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause. We're going to go into our map. And we're going to take that person that we hired on our Vanguard. And we are going to go to Information. And we're going to go to Crew. And we're going to come down here to him. And we are going to work somewhere else for me. And we're going to have him work on the Callisto Sentinel as the captain. Assign. So that ship now has a captain. So at this point, we did not discover that station, which is problematic. Well, we can still make it work. So at this point, and something else that's very important, when you only have a couple of ships, it's not an issue. But when you get to have more, it is going to become an issue. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to property owned, and we're going to rename this. And we're going to name it S Trader. And we'll give it a sector once we actually have one. And then we're going to name this the Poop Scout, because we're going to get out of it as soon as we can. So we are going to get off of this ship now that it has a pilot. And we're going to go ahead and scout out that other spot, but we're going to have him follow us. Okay.
Elite. Vanguard.
So we're going to pause, and we are going to assign the S Trader. We're going to have it selected, and we're going to right-click on ourselves, and we're going to follow until further notice. And then we're going to undock with Shift D. Yeah, I don't care. All right. Just trying to save some time by having it follow us, but that's okay. And we can actually save some time by getting it to head out this way right away by, again, removing all orders and assignments, and we can have it fly here and wait. And if we look in its info, we should be able to tell behavior. Okay, so fly and wait. It says it's executing. Let's see if it actually takes off this time. There we go. Now it's moving. Yeah, that was still way too early.
Docking granted.
Actually, we don't need to dock. But now, since he's already en route, we can actually have him dock here. So we are going to have him... Whoops, that's us. Have him... We're going to clear this, and we're going to have him trade. Trade with build storage? No, it's not build storage. So we're going to have him trade with the drone component, and it's going to be the one with the quest icon on it. So we're going to have it trade off those. We're going to get 10 grand for this. And while he's doing that, we are going to actually head over to Argon Prime. So that we can get another person, because that's going to give us 10 grand, which is going to let us hire some more crew.
Entering system. Argon Prime.
Okay, so we're in Argon Prime. You can see, whoop, went a little far. So we're going to go ahead and dock here. It's probably going to send us over here.
Docking granted.
Once you're about 6K, you can ask to dock, and it'll show you more or less where you need to head. Alright, so we've got that lined up. Now we just need to move forward. Boop, and down. And like I said, I'm not going to buy the docking computer for this, because we're not going to be using it that much. Now, our other ship has finished its mission. We do have the money from that. So at this point, we are going to give him different orders. So we're going to go into information and behavior. And we're going to change him from hold position to... I don't want him to do local auto trade. I want him to do fill shortages, but he doesn't have enough stars. So this is going to bring us to the importance of stars as far as pilots go. Now, the fastest way, in all honesty, to upgrade your stars on a pilot is to buy primers. You can buy regular primers that will put them above 1 star, and occasionally you can get 1-star primers that will put them to 2 stars. Very, 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 very rarely, I think I've only seen 3 places to buy them, and they seem to be more or less random, will you find a 2-star primer that you can purchase. Usually 2 and 3-star primers, and very, very rarely 4-star primers, come from missions that you pick up at bases. So in our particular case, getting him up to 2 stars for a fill shortages is going to be kind of rough. So I think, and if you manually trade them, they will not get experience. You need them to do things like local auto trade to gain experience. Now, mining is one of the best passive ways to get pilot experience. The best way to get pilot experience outside of books is combat vessels that are constantly in combat. So you put a fleet outside of a dangerous gate, and as they come out, you let them fight, and that pilot will gain levels fairly quickly. It's still pretty slow, but it's one of the faster ways. Now, if you're looking at support XP, as you will need in some of these, the support XP's fastest way to do it is through a builder. So that's going to be important there. But for right now, what we're going to do is we are going to get out, and we're going to see if these guys have any primers for sale for him so that we can get him doing fill shortages, because that is one of the quickest ways to get people to like you. So we're going to go to the Trader's Corner. And we're going to talk to this guy.
Here you go.
And we're going to go ahead and pause while we're in here. And we can look at what he's got. So he's got the bomb launchers, some of the stuff that we would really like from here. We do have a repair laser. That's going to be important later. So here we have the management and piloting. So management is for your stations. Piloting is obviously for piloting. So we're going to buy 1 of the 1-stars, and we're going to buy 1 of the basics. Make sure that they're both for piloting. They are. So that's going to cost us 1,300. You know what? We might buy 2 of these. Oh, that's the wrong one. Psych. Nope, we're not going to buy 2 because he doesn't have 2 of that particular one. Okay, so at this point, you can go talk to them direct, but you can also do it through comms. So we're going to go into information. And we're going to find our boy, the captain, in personnel. And we're going to comm him. And then we're going to give him a seminar, which is number 2. We're going to give him basic. Now we're going to give him a 1. And now we're going to back out, and goodbye. And if we check him again, he is now a 2.5-star pilot, which means we can now get him to do what we wanted to. So we're going to go back into information, we're going to go into behavior, and we're going to change his hold position into fill shortages. And we want to make sure over here in his, whoops, no, I want to, oh, add remove wares, right. We want to add everything, but I don't want him doing any of the foods, because for some reason with the foods they will buy and buy and buy and buy, and they will not sell as much as they need to. We should probably also take off some of the drugs. That's probably not a good idea. Medical supplies are hit and miss. We're not going to worry about them either. We want them to deal mostly in the stuff that they need for ships. Scruff and fruit is food for split. Soja beans is food. Soja husks. Space fuel, believe it or not, is not something that you want. Space weed and spices. Spices are for food. Space weed is a drug. Stimulants are for medical supplies. We don't care about those. Sunrise flowers are the lizard food. Swamp plant is lizard food. Terran MRE is out. Water is out. And wheat is out. And that should be good enough. And at that point, we're just going to kind of let him go. We are going to check and make sure... there should be a... oh, there it is. Confirm. Alright, now it shouldn't bitch at us. We're going to go over here into his individual instructions. So we want default response during attack. We do not want use judgment. We want him to just run. Escape and deploy laser towers. If they don't have laser towers, they'll just run. It's fine. I don't really want to know because there's not much we can do about it. Default response is ignore. That's fine. Default response to found lockbox. Ignore is fine. To pirate harassment. We do not want him to attack. We want him to escape. And I do want to know so that I know where the pirates are targeting our ships so that we can blacklist that system and not have to worry about them anymore. So we're going to leave the notification on. Default response to found contraband drop because we're not going to actually carry contraband. We already made sure of that. Default to police, definitely comply because we don't have anything illegal. We don't care. And we want him no travel hostile and no trade hostile. Perfect. Trade restrictions, we're just going to leave it be. Yep, so he should be good to go. So at that point, we can ignore him safely, and he has his marching orders. He's going to take off, go buy some stuff, and land. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our ship. By holding shift, it teleports you.
Vanguard.
We're going to pause, and we are going to upgrade and repair so that we can get some more crew. So we want to go ahead and add crew. We still only have enough money for one, it looks like, because we bought those books in Benton. So, one crew. Add a shopping list. That leaves us with $4 grand left over. Confirm. Now, the important thing to remember when you're buying crew like this is the crew members will be whatever race of the station that you happen to be on. So if you buy crew at a split wharf, they will be split. If you buy them at an Argon wharf, they will be Argon, etc., etc. So if you're going for a racial pure run-through, which I did with my split, every one of my split ships is crewed by a split. You need to keep that in mind so that you don't wind up with a bunch of mixed bags on your ships. But in this particular case, we don't care, and this early in the game, it's going to hamper you if you are new to the game, trying to keep up with that. So that's not something that we're really going to worry about. Now, at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to head over here, and we are going to go get the first of the free ships that is going to make this playthrough easier. Now, this one's going to be a combat ship, and we are not going to keep it. We're just going to sell it so that we get some income. Seriously? So we want to make sure that he's not in the backdrop of the station. Is he invincible? What the shit? Yeah, sometimes this happens. If they were in the process of docking when you jump them, it won't let you destroy them. So we just ignore them. There's nothing we can do about it. Choice again. So we are going to be making money and reputation already through that other ship. He's going to be spending our money, sure, but he's going to be making us money. Not very much, but he will be making us money. And he's small, so we don't have to worry about it over much. Now, one of the big things to remember with these guys is he can buy and sell, but he only knows, like, out of all of these stations here, he doesn't know what they're buying at. So he might buy some stuff there, but he's not going to be able to sell it until we get some satellites down. If you place satellites strategically, like one regular satellite right here will cover both of these and the jump gate, so you'll see what's coming through. But that will give you a permanent, like how this is lit up and these are not. That'll give you a permanent visible spectrum and also allow you to see what they are buying and selling and at what price. So that's going to be important for your trade network, that you get as many of those up as possible. But for right now, we're not going to worry about it overly much because we're after ships. We will worry about getting that once we have some collateral that we can actually spend on satellites. And preferably a scout to drop them. So we're going to come over here, and we're going to see we are in Silent Witness, and we are looking for the jump gate to Silent Witness 2. So it looks like it is going... So we're roughly here, so we want to head northeast of center. So at this point, we will go ahead and aim for that. So we bring up our map, and we know that we're headed somewhere in this general vicinity. Alright. Shift 1 for that. Shift spacebar for that. No, we're not going to fool around with that. We're going to turn around. This way. Oh, so see how it's sluggish to turn now? We can use the control spacebar trick line ourselves up, and then hit it again to straighten back out. So now we're headed this way, and we didn't have to wait for the warp drive to spool again. I think that's a station. It wouldn't hurt to buzz said station, just to get it on the map. Nope, that is actually a building ship. Nope, that's the building ship. What are you?
Defense platform.
Oh, it's their defense platform. Neat. So don't start crap near one of these. It will kill you. Until later when you're in better ships. But for right now, it would just destroy us. It wouldn't even be a contest.
Empty space.
Now, if you know that it's up here somewhere, but you're not seeing it anywhere, like in this particular case, we can see it because we knew where we were going. But if you know the general vicinity of it, but you're not sure and you can't see it through visual confirmation, you can actually run a scan through Shift 3. And then by holding down, I think it's F. We'll find out here in just a minute. Alright, so we're going to pause and realign ourselves. So in this particular system, we are headed up hereabouts. So we're going to unpause, control spacebar.
11.
Whoops, and shift spacebar. And control spacebar. And now we are back on track.
Space.
And that way we never slowed down, we never had to wait for the respooling of the warp drive. Just here we go. We are lined up now. I very, very rarely use autopilot unless I'm going somewhere very simple. And I know there's not going to be any combat in between. I know there's not going to be any obstacles in between. And I want to do something like get a drink while I'm flying. That's when I'll use it. So I know that that jump gate is up here somewhere. I didn't need to check just because memory. I think it's that. Yep, that's it. So in this particular case, see, it's aimed this way. So we're going to actually head over a little bit more this way so that we can use the control spacebar trick to realign ourselves as we're coming up on it. Because there's no way that we can hit it on our current trajectory in an effort to go through it. Oh, shit.
Forager.
Raiding party, of course. So at this point, we're going to line ourselves up and remember to be just a little bit to the left of it because you have that drift. Right like that. And now we're lined up. So now he's aware of us and he's chasing us, but it doesn't matter because we were going 2500 the entire time and he can't hope to catch up.
Entering. Silent.
Alright, now at this point, we are headed up this way.
12.
And there is a junk field up here, so you do have to be a little bit careful. These are some minefields, it looks like. Generally speaking, those are safe to go through as long as you don't actually contact a mine. So it's a dangerous prospect to glide through, but you want to try to skirt them if you can. But it's not like the mines are going to come straight for you because they're not hostile. I didn't go far enough west first. That's my fault. There is a safe passage through there, but that's alright. The chances of getting hit by a mine are not super big. They're not non-existent. They're not zero, but they're not super big. How are we doing? Oh, we still have a little ways to go.
Space.
So when you find ships like this, you can send our other guy that's going to be the pilot for it. You can send him over to it and have him pilot it. The problem is if you do it that way, he will blow a hole to get in. And it will destroy some of the hull, and it will destroy some of the components. So it's best not to send them that way. Alright, now I don't remember exactly where this guy is, other than it's up in this direction. I remember the scrap field, I don't remember the minefield. It doesn't seem to be particularly dangerous, though. They're not super dense. And as long as you're kind of eyeballing it and paying attention, you should be fine. I mean, we just got through it just fine. Okay, so at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to hit Shift 3, and we're going to hold... I don't remember if it's F or G. Neither, apparently. Is it R? It's R. And we're going to scan. Is there anything right away? Oh, we did find it. I was just being stupid. So our scan did locate it. Alright, so we'll pop right over here, and I will show you how to claim one of these without destroying it to high heaven.
Perseus, Vanguard.
Now it's best if you go into scan mode from your ship and find where the node is before you get out of your ship so that you can get as close to it as possible. The less time out and about, the better. Okay, so we're going to do Control D to get up. And we're going to launch in our space suit. And then remember that you have inertia when you first launch. So you need to hit Shift 2 to have better range on your signal here. And you can boost with Tab in your spaceship suit as well. So we're going to stop. And this ship is now ours. So now what we can do is reverse out of here for one. We're going to Shift D for dock. And we're going to tab on over to the docking platform. There we go. So we can pause again, go into our map. We can go to our things. And we can find our poop scout that we are in. We will go to personnel. We will find dude that we hired. And we're going to have him work somewhere else for me. We're going to have him work in the Perseus Vanguard as a captain. So now he's not going to blow up stuff on the way in because it is actually ours. And now it's populated, so we can get back into the pause menu. And we are going to send said Perseus Vanguard over here. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to upgrade repair. And we're going to downgrade everything to the cheapest version. So we're going to downgrade that. We're going to downgrade that. That already is the cheapest. That's worth 80 grand. What's the cheapest thing that we have available for us to purchase? 23 grand. Perfect. Same thing. We're going to go into the software. We're going to remove the docking computer. We're going to downgrade to the basic scanner. And we are going to take off the trade extension. So you'll notice that gave us a bunch of green here. So if we look, our total for our shopping list is... Oh, it's not done. So our total right now, we've already made 419,000 off of this ship, and we haven't even sold the ship yet. We're going to look into consumables. So we're going to sell the advanced satellite. We're going to sell the regular satellites. We're going to sell the nav beacons. Basically sell everything that it's got. Alright. And then we are going to go ahead and add... So now we're getting over 500,000 for this ship right now. So we're going to add it. And we're going to confirm order. Now he's going to go and do that upgrade. Or downgrade, rather. And we're going to get the money for that. Once we get that money injection, we're going to know that he's done it. And at that point, we're going to move him back to our ship and then remotely sell that ship. Because that ship is not particularly great. So I would like to head down here. I don't think we're not going to be able to get what I want for the amount of money that we have. So we are going to go back to our handy-dandy map because I don't remember the exact location. So let's go ahead and bring this back up. And we're going to back it up. And we are actually headed for faulty logic. So to get to faulty logic, we need to go from holy vision. Okay, that's what I needed to know. So we're going to pop that back off, go back to our map, and we are going to head for holy vision. And we are headed for the... Oops, that is not us. Start guidance here. As we are completely done with what we were doing up here. Okay, and we might be able to make this without doing our trick. Yep, we got it. But it's important to remember for manual control for this, because we are headed to Xenon space, and if you do not use this trick where you come out the other side moving at full speed, you are not going to survive.
11.
That's a full-on friggin' raiding party. Oh, shit. And they're after our ship. Doesn't look like they've hit him yet. Alright, so let's unpause and see what happens. Okay, so he's dusting them. He's going to be fine. Yeah, he's fine. If they'd have got a shot in on him, it would have stopped his warp drive, and then we would have had a problem. We might have had to help him out. I actually think we're coming in the back end. Oh boy, I botched this one. It's alright, we'll just keep it going. And we'll come in the wrong side. Thankfully, I don't think it matters for these. That slide trick really helps, doesn't it? Yeah, it doesn't matter for that. Alright, then we're going to hop on the outer belt again. After it finishes autosaving.
Entering Silent Witness 1.
Alright, here we are in system, so we're going to go ahead and get off the belt. And we're actually headed for the end of this, so we're not going to bother with that belt. Oh, no, we don't want to use this belt. We want to fly manually because we want to be at speed when we hit it, because we are coming out into Xenon space and we don't want to be slowed down by that. Now, we do want to check before we actually get into Xenon space. Okay, we did get our money influx. So now we can go up to our Perseus Vanguard. And I think I did a stupid here. So let's upgrade and repair. With the guns, I think we can actually take guns off. We can, which is going to get us more money still. Not everything can just be taken off. Like thrusters can't be taken off. Engine can't be taken off. I think we can take the shield off, though. Yeah, it's not worth very much, but we can. Okay, so we're going to have him go ahead and update again. That's going to get us another 45 grand. And that's going to take around 5 seconds. Actually, I think we already got paid. We did. Okay. So, oh, no, it's still repairing, so we need to give that a couple of seconds to finish. But we are going to need that gentleman on this ship. So that is something that we want to keep checking. Okay, we're going to hit this at speed. And don't stop for nothing, because they will open fire. Actually, before we go through, we're going to go ahead and save, just in case things go belly up. Shoop. Bunch of hostiles right there at the gate. So now we're going to pause. And we're going to check our trajectory. So we want to go through the gate that's down here now. We need to be very careful through here. Yeah, that guy... So that symbol is a capital ship. He would have just two-shot us, and that would have been that. So this guy's done now. See how it says that he's waiting? Hold position. So at this point, we're going to go in here, and we're going to find our pilot. And we're going to have him work somewhere else for me. We're going to have him work on our ship as the captain. Okay. And then we're going to wait while that transfer is done. Well, let's see if it's already finished. That one might be instantaneous. So let's go into info. I am in here. So he is already here. He is the relief pilot. That's fine. So at that point, since he's already here, we can go back to this ship. Now, you cannot upgrade and repair without a captain on board, but you can sell without a captain on board. So we're going to get an additional 233 grand out of that ship. So we're now at almost $1 million for very, very little work. And we've got a captain on this ship, which is going to be important when we pick up the other one, because we are not going to be able to tell him to fly it back or it's going to stop after each of these portions and just get absolutely destroyed. We're going to have to fly it the way that we're flying this ship. Unfortunately, we can't have him fly this ship back either for the same reason. So, thankfully, the ship that we are after now is large enough that we can dock this ship on that ship, and that's why we want him as a captain, so that he can dock onto it for us. While we're actually climbing in to pilot it, we can have him dock. That way we can kill two birds with one stone and spend as little time as possible in space here. So he's undocking. Does he actually have goods? No, he does not. I don't know what he's doing. Has he... Well, here. So we can actually go into his information, and we can go into his logbook and see... So he was harassed. He found a lockbox. He found a couple of lockboxes. Info. Transaction log. So he has been making us money. And it's always going to show 0 as long as he's not losing money, because it's going to go into our accounts. But you can see here, he has been utilizing money properly. It's like he bought from the refined goods factory for 5,200, and then he sold it up here at the microchip factory for 5,600. This is a bit misleading with the sum of displayed transactions, because he bought it, and that detracted from the profit, and then when he sold it, it also detracted. So you wind up with the trade purchase, the trade order, and it all balances out, which is good, I guess, as long as that number's not going down. But it makes it kind of hard to tell exactly how much he's making for you. That's where this graph comes in more handy. And this is showing in minutes, and you can show more or show less to get different time frames. So if we look at it for just the last half hour, he's only been going for 21 minutes. But he has made us some money along the way. Not very much in this particular trade. Not sure what that was about. But most of his trades are getting us money. So we are happy with that. Alright, this will put us back in safe space. And then we can head over and get the Pegasus, which is one of the fastest ships in the game. It's actually the second fastest ship in the game. But the first fastest we can't get for a while yet, so we're going to blitz back. These guys might follow us through, but it's not a big deal because the Paranid are going to have people on the other side ready to intercept them. So we're just going to go ahead and blitz through and call this part a bad run and get a better ship. This is actually the first time I've ever tried to run it in this ship.
Entering system. Fully vision.
Okay, so we are going to head up here. Do we have any satellites on us? We do. We're going to drop a satellite here for our trade ship. Now this scout is going to be something that we use for quite a long time, probably most of the rest of the game. Just because it is that useful of a ship. It won't be our main ship for forever, but it will be something that we use periodically. So we're going to go ahead and... Actually, I think we can do it from here, can't we?
Vanguard.
Yeah, buy ships. So we want a small ship, and we want the Pegasus Vanguard. And we are going to go with a all-around, I believe is what we're going to want. We don't have enough money to get what I really, really want, but that's alright. So thrusters, definitely all around. Shield generator, we want the best that we can get right now. The gun doesn't really matter. We're going to get a pulse laser. No, not a pulse laser. I want the beam. I can't get the beam emitter because we're not friendly enough with these guys. So the beam emitter is one of the worst weapons in the game, but it is fantastic for precision work, i.e. Taking out the criminal elements at space stations and or destroying mines and satellites and things. It works phenomenal for. So we're not going to be fighting in this ship. This is a terrible fighting ship. We are, however, going to basically take everything else on it. because we are going to need that stuff for later. We do want a pilot, and we do want crew for it. And then for our engines, I still don't know if I want the all-around. Do we have enough money for the all-around? What's our total? Oh my. No, we don't have enough money for everything that I want. What if we back it off to that? Still not quite enough. So its max speed with this would be 5,900. So that's still going to be 4,800 with the shitty engine. Yeah, we don't want the travel because it's going to take too long to spool up. Can we afford that? 856, 872. We cannot. So we do want the maximum shield. We do want the maximum for turn. So let's take the poopiest one there for now. And we're going to downgrade the weapon. And that's going to give us enough to be able to afford this guy. So we're going to add to shopping list, confirm order. And then we're actually going to get up. And we are going to come in here. Oh, we got to wait for it to finish building. It's going to take a full minute to finish building.
Hello.
So what we are going to do is we're going to take this person from our poop scout. And we are going to send them to live on the trade ship for now. Because we fully staffed this new ship. Just a service crew. Assign. Okay, so we don't have anybody on this ship right now. Well, at this point what we're going to want to do is sell off all of the stuff that's on it. I'm pretty sure most of it's crap anyway, but we're going to downgrade everything that we can. Because we're getting rid of this ship. There's absolutely no reason to keep this ship. Whoops. Oh, they're 28 whole parts short here to buy the ship that we wanted. So, that's what's taken so long. So we can't downgrade any of that. We can remove that, though. And we can remove that. Can't do anything with any of that. Can sell these off. And there's no crew. So that's going to give us 90 grand. And after a 30-second wait. So what we can do during this wait is we are going to take our other ship. We need 28 hull parts here. So we're going to have them go to a... Where are you? So is there a hull parts... There is. There's a hull part factory right here. So we're actually going to override here. We're going to trade these. Okay, first we are going to remove all orders. And we're going to trade these. Oh, he was buying. Okay, that's perfect. So we're going to come over here and buy 28 hull parts. Because that's what we need. And then we're going to have him manually sell them down here where we need them. And then we'll let him get back to his business. But that way we will get the hull parts that we need for the upgrade that we need. Alrighty, and here's our super new, ready to rock Scout.
Pegasus.
With,
Vanguard.
unfortunately, a Paranid pilot. I don't like them because they change the shape of the seat, which makes them take longer to get in and out. But that's alright. So, at this point, we're going to pause, and we are going to change the name of the ship. Rename. CYK Scout 1. Okay. Now, we can probably buy some satellites is not a terrible idea. It's going to cost more than what we've got. Well, I guess we have some. Let's buy like 20 of these. And we'll sit on those for now. But now, we're going to make another run at that ship. Alright, so we undock with Shift D, and we are going to notice quite a bit more maneuverability here. Shift spacebar to turn. Shift 1. Yeah, this thing responds so much better. I would still like a better engine, but it is what it is.
Entering system. Faulty logic.
So yeah, this time we just left them dusted. They're so far behind us, it's not even funny. Still corners poorly while it's boosting though, so that's why we use the control spacebar trick. Wait, who's out here that's not hostile? That HOP's lost? That poor guy, he's gonna die. Okay, that Xenon raiding party. Whoops. Is he able to keep up with us? He shouldn't be. Nah, he's falling behind. Remember, as soon as you pop out, you need to hit Shift 1 again, so that you don't lose any speed.
Logic. 7. Empty space.
Okay, we're in much, much better shape this time around. Shift space, control space, angle ourselves and unpause. And control space.
Empty space.
Yeah, we're free and clear now. There's a miner over there, but it's not going to matter. There it is. Now when you're traveling this fast, you kind of want to straighten yourself out before you go back to the control spacebar controls again. Woo! Okay, so we're going to come on up here, and I believe it's up on top by the docking bay, but it moves. So we're going to shift 2. So we're going to shift 2. Okay.
Odysseus. Vanguard.
And we're docked on it, so now, and the main reason that we left the other ship with a pilot, we are going to take this guy, and we're going to tell him to dock and wait on the Odysseus Vanguard that we are currently on. So let's make sure that he's actually docked. He is still docking. He is docked. So, we've got our waypoint set up. Now, this thing steers like a behemoth. We are currently stopped, and it's having problems turning. Which is why you do not want to trust them to fly this guy out. So what we are going to do is we're going to get ourselves turned around here.
Superhighway, faulty logic. 1.
And we're going to go ahead and drop a save. So we will unpause and shift 1. And he's going to take quite a while to get up to speed. We're going to pray that we do not hit any asteroids on our way up. So they will bring you to more or less a dead stop, and that is very, very problematic when you're surrounded by xenon. So as you can see, we've got more or less the same angle that we came in on, that we're leaving on. So we're going to come down this way and then up. Just a little further. I want to get as good of an approach as I can on this. So we know that there's some heavy ships here, and then there's this guy here. We kind of want to go more or less in between them through here. And you want to ease it straight before you release the control spacebar. Otherwise, it'll just keep turning on you, and it'll take you forever to get it to slow back down. Oh, they pinged us. They're aware. Oh, good. We got a nice approach, judging by the way that one's facing. I love it when a plan goes according to action. Oh, no, no, no. Maybe not, maybe not. We might be a little bit too far to the left. Make our minor adjustments out here before it becomes truly catastrophic. Oh, yeah, we've got this. We've got this. We just pulled off the heist. So the next one's a ring and much easier to line up. Shoop. Now remember again, same thing, because it took our orange away, so we have to shift 1 before we slow down too much. And we're going to control spacebar for our turn.
Jump gate, fully vision.
And even her out, and control spacebar again. And we should be lined up to be back in safe space. So now we just fly it out. Wow, this giant behemoth is still faster than that starter ship, by the way. If you look down there, we're at 2956. So taking the starter ship in here is a terrible idea. Definitely go after that first ship first. And get yourself a Pegasus. You'll use the Pegasus for the rest of the game. Honestly, I mean, I own most of the Galaxy in my main save, and I still use my Pegasus regularly. Oh no, there's junk in the way. This is gonna be rough. Can we make it? Can we make it? Oh, nice. Nice. Yep, hi boys. Bye boys. Shoop. And we're safe.
Entering system, fully vision.
Now remember that the large ships cannot use the belt. So you have to actually fly them yourself. It'll just pass right through it like it's not there. If you let the NPCs fly these things, it took so long to spool up, it'll take forever to get anywhere. So in the early game, and especially with this one, it's probably better to fly it yourself. Now we do have a couple of options here. Right now we are headed for the, not the wharf, but the shipyard, which is what deals in large and extra large, or, yeah, large and extra large ships. Should be somewhere in this general vicinity. But we have a couple of options. We can strip this beast and sell it for a few million. I think it's close to 10 million. Our second option is we can use it to ferry advanced satellites. So we sell off everything that we don't need to fly it, strictly fly it, and then we load it up with advanced satellites from down here where they have more materials, and then fly it up to Argon space or Talati space where they don't have as many materials, and then sell them off there. Now bear in mind you can only get a couple of cycles of that before it becomes a problem because you've transferred too many things too many places. These guys won't be able to sell them as cheap, and the other place won't be able to buy them for as much. So, but that is an option to make a little bit of extra money out of it. But for right now, this should put you in a pretty great spot to start. But yeah, that's the solid start. You take this guy up there and sell it off, or buy materials and take them elsewhere. Like we could take them advanced satellites from here to here, probably make some money. Yeah, and we've got our little scout for flying around to do some other things with. And you can use the money that you make off of this, whether you transfer some things and then sell it, or just outright sell it. You can use the money that you get from that to get a small fighter for actual piracy, but that is something that we will cover in a different video. This should give you enough funds and enough experience with the hotkeys and whatnot to help you with a pretty solid start. At this point, you should be in pretty good shape to get yourself going on the quests, and that's another thing. Just check on your quests, see what you've got, see what you have active, see what you can do. You can finish this. We just did it for the free ship, but you can keep it going. We need to seed satellites like we did at that other place. Oh, right. So it was down here that we dropped that satellite. So as you can see, our satellite's still there, and we can actually see what their prices currently are, but that's alright. And when you drop the satellites around for your trade ships, they will know what they can and can't trade for what amounts of money, and try to make you money. Speaking of, how's our little bugger doing? So go into our information and check his transaction log. Yeah, he's making us a pretty steady income here, it looks like. So he spent 49, he sold it for 51. He spent 33, so on and so forth. 31 to 41, that was 10 grand. That's the trade that we forced on him. And it looks like we actually lost money on that one, oddly enough. Oh, because we have terrible rep with the Paranid, that's why. And we don't with the Argon. But then he went right back to making money again. Like there he made up the difference of what we lost getting our ship ready. So yeah. So you should know, at least have an idea on how to set up your traders. The ideas behind shortcuts on your piloting. We went over where to get some primers, how to use the primers, where to get the fighter to sell, to get your Pegasus to go get the large ship to sell. We unlocked our PHQ, or at least started the quest. You can follow up on that to actually unlock it. I showed you my most favorite link, and I will link that in the description for the maps, which will definitely help you out. And yeah, from here you should be in pretty good shape to get going on the game. Just remember, don't fight in scouts. It's not a good idea. But if you learned anything useful, or if you had a good time, please don't be afraid to drop a like. If you're feeling friendly, maybe go ahead and subscribe. But either way, have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will catch you in the next one.